Hey, and we're back at Arlanda Airport for another airside video, but this one is extra special. You might have seen my video about snow removal here, and if you saw that, you know that Arlanda has never closed to air traffic because of weather. They keep a really amazing operation going here in bad weather, which can happen often with these PSBs, these massive machines that go and clear the runways so that at least one runway is open for traffic at all times, whatever happens with the weather. And now they are upgrading that fleet. They're in the process of bringing into the PSB fleet a new bunch of autonomous PSBs. So this is the next frontier in that technology, and we've been invited to be the first to show what this looks like, what it's like to be inside these things, how they drive themselves. It's a whole complex operation that they're having to solve a lot of interesting challenges around in order to make that reliable, safe, and predictable, having up to 8 PSBs driving at once, clearing these runways autonomously. In fact, Swedavia is the first company in the world to ever do 8 of these at once. They've done these test runs, and today we're gonna get to ride along on another one of these, and should be really interesting. Let's go. And I guess I get to be in the lead vehicle to start with, and we're gonna rotate around to see the different positions and what that looks like when these things are moving autonomously around the airport. There's a whole system that they're using their own 5G network and some special technology from a Swedish company actually, to take the GPS locations of these machines and refine it further to get within 3 to 4 centimeters accuracy in terms of the location. It's really important when 8 of these are lined up doing their synchronized thing that they have to be exactly in position, and in fact it really facilitates them being even more accurate. You think about a runway covered in snow, you can't see the lines, and these things know exactly where they are, and it just minimizes the chance of mistakes, which obviously all these men and women that drive these PSBs are absolute professionals. They're great at what they do, but human error is always a factor, and with these you can be that much more accurate, that much more safe, and really get the job done as efficiently as possible, which is always what they're looking for here because of the high demand in really bad weather in the middle of winter here. Today we don't have any snow, but we'll get to see some of what they do. They don't only clear snow, and should be cool.
Well, we have developed a checklist that everyone can have in their pocket when we drive, and it's a kind of safety aspect, so everyone can do the same thing in the right way.
Just like when you fly a plane, almost.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, we got Flight Radar 24 high-vis vests now. We usually are wearing whatever, the vests with the branding of the company we're working with when we're airside or doing special projects with airlines and airport operators, etc. Now we have the official in-house vests. Another piece of merch that I'll no doubt receive a lot of Instagram messages about where they can be bought, and the answer will sadly be nowhere. This visitor badge is kind of cramping my style here. Might have to put it somewhere else. All right, here we go. We're climbing into machine number 1. These things are massive, if you recall from the earlier video, and they've told me, be really careful. I have to use 2 hands to climb into this thing, so that means I have to put the camera down. Let's see how we go. It's so high up. Look at this.
Tre med följen. Kör på Willem söder om Z, Urban öster om Erikadan och kör ut bana 19 vänster, 0 höger.
And when you put the steering wheel kind of up, that's the sort of autonomous mode.
Ja, så vi behöver hålla i ratten liksom när vi kör. Så det är bara för att få bort det så man inte fastnar med någon hand emellan, för den kommer ju svänga och köra. Aktiverar vi automi, tryck på blå knapp.
This gray box next to me is something that wasn't in previous examples that I rode in. This is the brain for the autonomous driving. There's a bunch of other things that have to get selected, turned on. Steering wheel gets pushed up so it's out of the way, and all the time the operator is paying attention to what's going on, of course, but certain things then can be taken over by the autonomous system, and he can refine and choose in terms of various aspects of how the machine operates, depending on the conditions, the type of snow, things like that, speed. various things, but then the autonomous system is kind of driving the main course of events, and he just kind of monitors and makes sure it's all as it should be. And then they can work together with 4 or up to 8 machines now to do the whole snow removal and runway clearing process. It's pretty cool. So it's really interesting. They've actually been testing this, doing trial runs, getting to know the technology, and fine-tuning it for 3 years now. And this past winter was the first time that they did this operation with actual snow clearing. But it's still a process that they're taking their time with to be really sure, to be really safe, to make sure everything works.
Har vi då 2 olika alternativ. När vi kommer ut på banan så kan vi välja då, antingen så kör vi banan fram och tillbaka, eller så kör vi då ett öppningsmönster som om det hade legat snö över hela banan. Så vi kör en öppning, känner vi. Så då blir det grönt och när vi kommer åka så kommer vi gräva ur varje taxibana. Så om vi inte har godkänt så stannar den säkert.
So what we just saw was an example of these basically stop signs that they've implemented in the system, in the software, so that these machines know when you get to a point where you're about to enter active runway, most importantly, that there is a stop automatically every time, and then the operator needs to confirm that they do have clearance to enter the runway. Very, very important, of course, possibly one of the most important aspects of this operation. So there's no chance that the machine just keeps on rolling, thinking of something else into a runway and creates a safety hazard. So we've just entered runway 01, yeah?
Yes.
Seeing how the machine kind of maintains that line just at the edge of the runway lights, things it might damage, just kind of perfectly holding that position is really cool. And of course, an important part of this is that these machines move in formation, because of course one is not wide enough to clear the entire runway, so they do it with the whole team, and each one is offset from the other to pick up what the first one, or the one in front of it, pushed aside, right? So it's important that the number 1 vehicle be at the exact right position in terms of where it is on the runway edges, so that they do manage to properly clear the exact portion of runway that they need to. You can't have it be sort of 10 centimeters off toward one direction and then one part of the runway over on the other side gets missed. So it's a very fine-tuned, you need to be accurate kind of operation.
Först som styr hela operationen, så man har ändå ganska mycket att tänka på framåt. Ja. Och i det här fallet så är det ju stängt här, så det är ingen som annan som kör, men normalt sett så hade det ju varit flygtrafik, då är det ganska mycket prata i radio och så.
Yeah. There's plenty to do anyway.
Ja. Nu fick jag upp igen då att vi har 200 meter så kommer vi få en stopppunkt, så tar jag inte klarering från tornet och så kommer vi inte kunna köra ut egentligen. Och då kommer maskin stanna av sig själv. Alternativt så får vi klarering, de talar om att det är klart att köra. Och då bara godkänner vi. Så kommer man inte åka ut. Nu ska vi köra i 40 kilometer i timmen söderut. Så vänder vi och så tar vi andra halvan tillbaka. Så nu väntar vi bara in de andra så de svänger ut bakom. Så när alla är redo så då kör vi.
So the machine knows that the others are in place.
Att de är i en kurva, så de kan inte köra 40 där. Utan när de kommer ut på en rak linje här, nu ökar allihopa.
But this one has an awareness of the other machines in the line, so it's aware then once they're all straight. Huh. That is a cool aspect of this that I hadn't really considered, that in this formation, each of these machines needs to understand where the other is. So it's not only responsible for its own correct positioning, but the fact that the team works properly together if they're all driving autonomously. So in this case, we came onto the runway, and the idea is to go a bit faster down, but this lead vehicle understood that it needed to wait for the following vehicles to all be lined up straight on the runway because if the last one was turning around on the curve to enter the runway, it wouldn't be able to catch up. So that's pretty cool. They all have a sense of where each other is.
Då gör ju det att vi har en landning som blir hindrad för att vi är där ute. Han har inte vänt runt så han kommer inte kunna hänga med. Nu vänder vi runt. Det tar precis lika lång tid. Vi är ute samma tid där ute. För han var ju inte, hade vi kört ut dit så hade det fortfarande tagit tid innan han hade varit där. Så det tar lika lång tid i slutändan. Och så får vi åter upp igen sån här stopppunkt då. Så nu ser vi precis, vi har kört 11,4 kilometer. Vi har 29 minuter och 22 sekunder som är färdiga med den röjning som vi har i det här mönstret. Sen kommer vi bygga på med andra alternativ vart efter. Så när de kommer upp sen så kommer de upp som olika alternativ. Då kan vi välja olika sätt om vi vill köra för någonting. Så lägger vi upp den här rutten nu när vi har tid att tänka. Sen ska man ju så mycket annat att göra så då förbereder man hela tiden så man ligger ett steg före. Och hade det nu varit snö överallt och vi ska öppna det, då vet vi inte hur de där linjerna är någonstans. Lamporna blinkar men de sitter inte rätt vid linjen. Och sen är det så mycket annat att tänka på så då är det ett jättebra hjälpmedel. Vi kör ett stopp här, då har vi kört i 40 minuter. Så byter vi lite positioner.
Ja, vi kommer fram till 413 sen när vi är redo.
Det låter bra. Jag ropar alldeles strax. Där kan vi vrida över till manuellt. 9 då vrider du på manuellt. Så, 305 kan ni komma fram.
All right, so I've switched to the rearmost vehicle. We're in a line of 4 today. We did the round in the first one, and now we'll get to see what it looks like from the rearmost vehicle in this formation of 4. Pretty sure this runway and taxiways around it are going to be the cleanest they've ever been in a long time, at least after we've been through here doing multiple rounds of kind of proving and testing and showing how it works. It's pretty funny. The turn radius on these things is so impressive considering how long they are. Obviously they steer in a very different way from a car and they have these multiple segments, but all kind of have to work around each other. You see how the part of the machine that sucks up, it has to sort of make room for the brush part as they turn and as the brush moves and when the plow is moving as well. It's amazing how many things you have to consider operating one of these. If you think about driving one of these without the autonomous function, there's a lot to consider. Not to mention every aspect of this machine and how it's working and the different moving parts and turning and staying in the right place in line, in formation with the rest of the vehicles, but also everything that's going on out on the runway. Right now we have a closed runway, but normally you'd have traffic really needing to get in and out ASAP, right? So they'll close the runway only for a very limited time in order to clear it and then restart the traffic, restart the aircraft coming in. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot on the radio. Really, actually a really intensive job and responsibility for the operators of these. So the autonomous aspect really kind of lightens the workload in a way, but there's still plenty to be on top of and to be sort of managing. Definitely, I would think, a really nice thing to have, to be able to sort of outsource some aspects, some key aspects, and some of those sort of more detailed, like getting it right in the right position to the autonomous side. I can steer it so you can worry about other things. For example, making sure the operation is as safe as possible, everything's going to plan, and no runway incursions happening, that kind of thing. Also pretty cool to get to step out onto the taxiway here. It's all closed off, so we have it to ourselves. Check out these machines, they're just so cool. Ooh, A330 taking off over there. Not only do we get to stand out on the runway, we get to have a fika on the runway. If you're not familiar with Swedish fika, little coffee break, little snack. Very nice, very unique privilege to be out here on the taxiway and have a coffee and a bun or a sandwich.
Ta gärna dubbla muggar för man kan läcka.
Fika on the taxiway, very special.
Yeah. All for you. How was it, Gabe?
Oh, really nice.
Okay. Breakfast at the runway 01 right.
Super cool to get to have a coffee right here. Look at this. I don't think I've ever stood so close to a runway marker. All right, I'm finishing my sandwich, little lunch here at the runway markings for 01 right. Amazing. I've taken off, landed on this runway so many times. Now I'm standing on it. Forgive me for chewing. I've stood on a few runways before, but never at as big an airport as this. Something very special about it. It's such a big space. Huge thing. Looks so much smaller when you're in an air traffic.
Sweepers, turn everything to left.
Now we're gonna get a quick chance to test out what it's like in the driver's seat, maybe push some buttons. Always fun to do that. All right, so now's my chance to push some buttons.
Yes.
Right? Cool.
Vrider på det här bredet.
Yeah, this one first?
Yes. Så blinkar den. Så trycker vi in den. Yes.
Pushing in the blue button now.
Så nu ställer den in allting, hur den ska vara på den här platsen. Borsten åker ut om du kollar det.
Oh yeah. And if someone is standing nearby, does it know that there's a obstacle there or something like that?
Nej, inga sensorer eller något.
Doesn't have anything like that.
Så är det du som får titta så att man inte kör någonting. Så styr du, så har du, trycker du på den där. Ta den.
Wow.
Yes.
Apply now.
Now. Så åker plogen upp. Ja, nu. Prova igen.
Okay. This one.
Ja.
That brings the plow up, so we can move. Yeah.
Så kan du ta vänster. Apply now.
Apply now. Okay. So there's always little buttons where you can choose where you want the plow to go, and then you always have to say apply now. The kind of detail you're working with in terms of you have all the different things that work on the machine, and so you have sprayers, brush, plow, and you can affect all of these things in ways that I don't fully understand. Wow. So this is the brush. So it's a different pattern that the brush does for different types of conditions. Wow, cool.
Så snabb kommando. Så allting går att stänga av, lyfta upp.
But this is only if you want to, like, if you're choosing to change what it's doing. Otherwise, it will do its own thing based on whatever the program is, right? Like,
Om man går ifrån det som är liksom sagt att man ska göra.
Yeah.
Så vill vi att vi ska fortsätta med det som är sagt, så är det bara sync to plan. Så kan man kolla utrustning och allting.
Oh, so this is this machine that it knows is over there, or what?
Ja, det är den där.
Yeah.
Och sen är vi den där. Så att du får inte köra, men du kan, om du trycker på den där lite snabbt, så när det kommer upp en gul får du trycka stopp igen. Men du kan få filma det och göra det om du vill.
Okay, so I can press it and then press stop again.
När den kommer upp, det kommer vara grått en liten stund och sen blir det gul. Då kan du trycka direkt igen.
All right, I'm about to start it, but not really. Cool. That's fun.
Ger vi in plogen.
Nej, men tusen tack för att ni kom hit idag.
Ja,
Och
tack
är det
att
något
ni
mer ni
fick
vill
komma.
titta på?
Thank you so much. It's great.
Yeah.
What a cool chance to be out around the airfield here at Arlanda once again, this time getting to stand right on this runway, not currently active. They closed it down for us, and that's really a special privilege. And to see these things in action, this autonomous technology moving these massive PSBs around in formation, in unison, working with each other, what a cool piece of technology that is, and definitely making things a lot safer, more exact, and reducing workload for these operators who still have a lot to worry about, a lot to think about. And so cool that Arlanda has never closed due to weather. And yeah, I see it continuing that way. I don't see them falling down on that job anytime soon. So anyway, thanks as always to Swedavia for inviting us out to check this stuff out. I hope you enjoyed. And from right at the top of runway 01 right, hoping the wind isn't ruining this shot, for Flight Radar 24, I'm Gabriel Lee.